G'day. The Las Vegas Grand Prix has dramatically changed. Last year we had tens of thousands out in the grandstand. We had a whopping great show, drones flying overhead, all the drivers presented to the crowd. But this year, none of that. It's all gone. And quite amazingly, the paddock is quiet, really quiet, unusually quiet. In fact, I've not seen anything like this on a media day for many, many years. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing that we're missing all that hoopla and razzmatazz? Well, I think a lot of you would say it was an overkill. Maybe it was. Certainly the drivers didn't take to it much, but I think this year they've just scaled back things. But I think come the weekend we will get that real punchiness, that real excitement from the crowd, but that's yet to be seen. I remember last year it was a lot more work shooting all that stuff. Tonight, I've got to tell you, we've been spending a fair amount of time in the media centre, which is large and has a very special sign out the front. I expected to be leaving here about 1:30 a.m. But what are we now? 11:10, and I don't think there's much more left to shoot. Now, I've already mentioned to you before that Mercedes has some lovely digital signage at the entry to their garage. Well, Aston Martin now has digital screens as you enter their garage. Haas is actually a US team based in North Carolina, and they've gone big time here with some signage for Vegas, and also out here with the Eagle. Every year, my Las Vegas videos are my most watched videos. And yes, I know a lot of you hate the race, and the fact that you're still watching this tells me that at least you're interested. But what I think is the real defining thing about this race is it is so different. It is so over the top. There's crazy digital signage like this in the paddock. We've got things like these glorious trees with LEDs in them. I have a dog called Mickey back at home. Beautiful dog, about 15 years of age. Well, tonight here in the paddock, we can actually get little name tags printed with your dog's name on it, right in the centre of the paddock. An unusual promotion, I thought. We've got magnificent activations like this Evian stand, and all the way along here, there's things for people to look at and do. This year we had hoped to have more light in here. It's still very dark and really tough to photograph drivers as they arrive. But still, that's my problem. It's not yours. And if you were in here tonight, I think you'd be pretty happy. But hopefully you would bring a bit of life to the joint, because to my liking, it is just too dull. What's it like in the city? Well, there's a bit of buzz around, but certainly it'll crank up on Thursday and Friday. And of course, Saturday will just be crazy. But certainly you want to be wearing a jacket in here, and it's been good to see some of the bigwigs like Stefano Domenicali here in his casual outfit. Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, both of the Alpine boys were dressed up today as they came in. And what about on Saturday night? Will Max Verstappen be celebrating his 4th World Championship? He only has to score 3 more points than Lando Norris for that to be a done deal. I think it's fair to say that Las Vegas is all about standing out and grabbing attention, like women like these behind me. You might remember that last year out here was a wedding chapel. In fact, Jacques Villeneuve got married in this particular spot. Well, this year that's gone, and instead ESPN are putting up a putting show, which is quite popular with the people here. And while we don't have Elvis Presley here, we do have 2 Elvis Presleys here. Well, if you're wondering if I'm in a nightclub or a very expensive restaurant, I'm not. In fact, I'm in Pit Lane. This is actually a garage. There's probably a few of them. This is Gordon Ramsay's garage. And on track nights here, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, there could be up to 150 people in here, all enjoying the most lavish hospitality. And what are they paying for this? $25,000 plus per head. How hungry and thirsty can you be? But I can tell you, they have the most remarkable position because they're actually in pit lane. They can actually stand here and watch the cars whiz by them as they come into the pits and leave them. And right next door to Ramsay's garage is this one, Puppy's Steakhouse. It's priced similarly, and it's phenomenal that there are enough people to make these sort of function facilities viable. Let's talk Alpine drivers, Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. Did they celebrate their big podium at the last race? No. I talked to both of them today. They said, no, we had to catch a private flight back home. So there was no time to party. Straight out of there. As they said, we didn't expect to be there. So there was no way that we would have perhaps planned to leave a lot later. Now we're down here at the steak end of the paddock, and I had a chat with both Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu today about their race suits. They were doing some promotional stuff in the paddock, and I couldn't help but notice how baggy their suits were. And I said to Valtteri, are you wearing those in the race, or are they just for this stunt? And he goes, no, these are our race suits. I have no idea what's going on, he said. They're certainly bigger than they should be, and I asked him if that would have any detrimental effect. He said, no, we'll just get on with things. And in the press conference, Valtteri was asked what's next for him. That is the t-shirt, well, the sweater he was wearing today. And then they followed him the whole way along the paddock. which is lengthy. It's about 3 football fields, which is, what's that, 300 metres or so. And he said, I've got this tattoo here too. And he showed me what's next. And it's real. He and Paul Ripke, who used to photograph for Mercedes, both had it done in Newport Beach. And it's now not recovering, not curing, healing. It's healing, that's right. We're just 3 races away from the end of the season, and this young man does not have a drive in 2025. And at this stage, he will, well, I can't see him getting a drive at this stage. But he was full of beans this evening when he came in, smiling and making funny faces. Well, since I started recording this video, suddenly we've got a vibe going in here because there's some music, and it looks like a whole host of people have now joined us. I'm not sure from where. Over here behind me, Max Verstappen's talking to ESPN. All these people here are waiting for a free feed, and I'm sure they're going to absolutely love it. Let's talk Lewis Hamilton, because Lewis today came in. He was one of the first drivers to arrive, surprisingly early, well dressed as usual, carrying a bag. And it wasn't until he got nearly up to the media waiting to photograph and video him that he turned that bag around to reveal since 2013. That was the year that he joined Mercedes. He has 3 more races with them, and then of course he's off to Ferrari. Now, for those of you who love the British media, and I know they cop a fair bit of a hiding sometimes on my Insta post, but Craig Slater was getting into the spirit of things tonight. Have a look at what he was wearing as he was mock listening to somebody talking in the TV media pen. And then I saw David Croft dressed up in this outfit. Why? Well, he was actually hosting a dinner out on the grid called Dinner on the Grid. And it was pretty impressive with the table setting. I saw it earlier in the afternoon and then later under lights. Now, the other day I got dropped off out at the far end of the track and I was walking around it and I came across one of these water covers. This is the exact type of water cover that caused all the drama last year. I picked it up and was bamboozled at the weight. I'm guessing 7 kilos maybe? Very heavy, and it's quite amazing that the suction of a car could actually pull that thing up out of its housing and cause the drama that it did in 2023. I can say that they've actually installed some new lighting up on the top level here of Paddock Club, but unfortunately it just shines these little spotlights, and most of the time those lights are red or purple. But for photography, we would love more light. If you were one of the 250,000 or so people that have already viewed my pre-race video on YouTube, you would have seen this in daylight, but at night it looks quite spectacular. And for those that haven't seen that video, I did mention that this is no longer called the Paddock, this is called the Plaza. There are so many things that Las Vegas does differently to everywhere else, and normally it involves something spectacular, like this is the swipe gates coming into the Paddock Club. And have a look at this lighting here. We don't see that anywhere else. And have a look at this signage on one of the grandstands behind me. I've never seen this before. The wheels on this car appear to be turning. Of course they're not. This is a lighting effect. And in fact, the lighting comes from just over here for both the front wheels and the rear wheels. Now, for those of you wondering what you'll pay for a drink here, I can tell you for a start that soft drinks and Evian mineral water free. That's included in your ticket price. But if you're looking for an alcoholic drink, you'll pay $22 for a margarita or a vodka Red Bull, and beers $14, or an alcohol-free beer $10 with Red Bull energy drinks a lazy $6. Oh yes, there is sales tax on top of that, remember. I had lunch with some people in the tourism industry today, and they did say that Las Vegas went too hard on the pricing last year for both accommodation and tickets to the event. Things have certainly scaled back a bit this year, and I'll be very keen to see come Saturday night race night whether there are any big gaps in the grandstands. And if you're watching this video upon release, it might be a great time to check out what's available, see if you can get some bargains. And there's George Russell over there leaving in what looks like almost a ski jacket. Oh, and then I caught this picture of Toto Wolff and his delightful wife Susie as they were leaving the track tonight. Toto in a spectacular Tommy Hilfiger white puffy jacket, which no doubt would have kept him well and truly warm. And Susie telling me that she actually designed the graphics that are on the Sphere for the F1 Academy this weekend. Will we see many celebrities here at this race? Well, I can tell you there are 66 pages on the VIP attendance list, and I know that doesn't even include the likes of David Beckham, who I'm told will definitely be here for the race. At the moment, a lot of the drivers are heading over to do their interviews in the TV media pen. These run throughout the evening. and they're required to do them. It's part of the gig. So has Las Vegas lost its pizzazz, its punch, its wow? No, I think it's just going to save it up for the race weekend come Friday and Saturday night. I'm sure there'll be plenty of hype around this city to talk up what will be, I think, a great evening. Well, I've got to go and shoot some more photos here at the Las Vegas Grand Prix, so whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to ask you to please hit the like button and subscribe, and for a whole lot of extras, check out all this lot. Thanks for watching, and stay passionate. What else can I tell you here? And this... Fuck. Thank you, ladies.